So like Miss Kathy said, 2 summers ago, I interned at this place called the Indian National Trust for Arts and Cultural Heritage. That's basically just a long name for these people who go into old buildings to look at old paintings or old sculptures and try to figure out how they can make them look new again, so that people can go look at them and appreciate them. So, and this was in India. So in India, there are these huge mansions, really old mansions called Havelis. Really decorated and really fancy like this. We're kind of tiny and old, but all tiny, and all of them are old. And a lot of them have wall paintings. So which are paintings on walls, obviously. But basically, these are very colorful. They have a lot of designs like flowers and dots and other types of stripes and stuff. And they usually tell some type of story. Not necessarily religious or anything, but like over here you can see there's a woman and there's like there's like a king and there are flowers around. So they have some type of history behind them. So, but this is not what they look like. These are just very nice photos of what it looks like. But in real life, all of these wall paintings are in those mansions I was talking about. And they're all old and dusty and the paint is probably chipping away and it doesn't look like this anymore. So that's where Intact comes in. Intact goes in to these places, they document where they are, and they put in like a little book, and they go and try to preserve them. So Intact is made up of conservators, and basically their job is to go into these paintings, sculptures, or buildings and try to make it look like it did before. So what they do is they clean or remove any dirt or any type of other material like glue or something that might be on the thing they're taking care of. They take care of any damage. So if the sculpture has no nose or something, they try to add a nose in. They try to stabilize the base of the sculpture. The foundation is really weak. They'll probably try to build that up. They retouch or paint any spots that don't have paint in them, that need to have paint in them. And they make sure that the painting is not at any further risk. So if there's a painting that's been ripped, they'd probably mend the painting, and then on top of that, they try to make sure that the painting doesn't get ripped again. So Intact does a lot of work with this, and one of the most important things about what they do is that everything that they do has to be reversible. They can't make any permanent damages or permanent changes to the painting. So they use water-based paint or water-based glue or anything that can be removed. And it can be kind of controversial because some people might not want to see the painting changed at all. They want to keep the authentic, real painting and don't want any changes at all, just so that the painting can be exactly like it was. But some people think it's a good idea that you're trying to make the painting applicable to now and you're trying to make it look nice. So Intact has a couple of things that they've done. So one of the buildings that they've restored is this. You can't even tell it looks like the same building. But they've painted the entire thing, all of this mold and stuff that was here, they've taken it out. It looks like it's been built a bit higher than this painting that they got. They took out they amended the rips, and they made it look a lot brighter. And then here they even cleaned up the frame. Now it doesn't look so dusty and gray and dirty anymore. And then for this one, again there were rips and everything. And Miss Caskey asked me, how do they know what her eyebrows look like or what her nose looks like, or her lips look like? Because it's blank here. How do they know what to fill in? What if she had a unibrow? Like, how do you know you don't have to draw a unibrow here? And the reason you know that is if the artist has done any sketches or something, if there is something that's missing, they can try to add it in. Or they can look at other works by the same artist, and they can look at his style. If all the other women in his paintings had unibrows, the likelihood is that this woman would also have unibrows. So they use kind of history and stuff like that to try to see what would have happened in the painting, what influences the painting, and they try to recreate that. And these are all very good examples of restoration. There are also some really, really bad examples of restoration where they've tried and it doesn't really turn out to what it's supposed to look like.
What do you guys think of that?
Yes, something
looks wrong, right?
Does something look a little bit off?
Yeah, the right one looks so funny.
Yeah, so this one was done by an 83-year-old woman from Spain, and Well, it doesn't look like she did a very good job. But all the reviews that have come back say that it looks like a monkey in a dress.
Actually does.
Right. And then with this, the kid's head was kind of like chopped off and stolen. So the restorer redid the head.
But then the woman
It's just the angle that it looks like it's different. But it's not even the right color, it's not the right size. It looks nothing like that. And if you think that maybe this looks better than that, yes, but that's not the artist's job. The artist's job is to make it look as close to this as possible. It's not necessarily what they like in the painting. It's more what they need to bring back to make it look as good as historically accurate as possible. So there's this video that Miss Caskey found. So this is like varnish that they're putting on the painting to make it look better and to help it last longer. Now they're filling it in, so they have to have some type of artistic skill for this because, I mean, if you don't know how color theory works or if you don't know how to do brush strokes or something, it's really tough to do something like that. They're trying to match the style to everything around it. And here they're using water-soluble glue and individual pieces of fabric to try to mend something because they can't exactly sew into it. That would be really harmful to the canvas. And all of this has to be reversible, so someone can go in and take it out. And this is a huge work of restoration. And they had to research the type of bird it was and everything about it. This took probably a lot of reason because so much of it was missing.
I thought that was a real hand. Yeah. Me too.
And then sometimes it's the canvas, or sometimes they take out the frame and they have to go in and redo some of the work that has been done previously because technology has improved so that it can be done better. And sometimes the old glue or old patching up, maybe it could be destructive to the painting itself. And then if the canvas is really brittle or really thin, they can put it on top of another canvas just to make it stronger. So kind of putting the canvas onto a frame or onto a board base. And this is kind of patching it up and trying to make it look like everything around it, so it doesn't look out of place when you look at it from far away. This is repainting or painting over.
Okay, I saw the Mona Lisa in Paris before. No, it looks great.
So this is the before,
That's so good.
and that's the after. So they stitched up all the rips and they made it look nicer. And basically,
I've seen that candle before.
and a lot of it takes a long time to do all of this. Like when I was at the place, they had this huge collection from one of the royal palaces, and a bunch of paintings and a bunch of sculptures, and it took like 9 months to like a year to get everything cleaned up and ready to be sent back. In fact, one of the sculptures that they had was super delicate and super complicated, so it took like 3 or 4 months just to clean it because they have little brushes that dust out, that clean up the dust or something like that, and it just takes a long time. So this form of art or this avenue of art not only has actual art when you need to repaint or something, but also science because you need to see what kind of chemicals were used to make sure that they're not damaging the painting. So you usually take a sample of the paint or either put it under a microscope, combine it with other things, or burn it to see what kind of materials they can use on it without destroying it.
Burn it?
Yeah, sometimes if they burn it, the color of the flame or the way it smells when it burns or something like that can tell you what kind of substance it is. And it also uses history because if you know the historical influences, maybe you can try to figure out what's going on in the painting.
Do you guys have any questions?
Any compliments?
Any compliments?
Oh,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do they burn it so that they know what?
So they'd probably take a sample of the paint and put it in like a chamber and burn it and to see what kind of color comes out or how it looks like when it burns or what kind of smell it produces or anything like that to try and give an indication of what kind of substance it can be. Some things have a really strong smell when they burn. Some things don't have any smoke or something like that, so that can help you try to figure out what it is.
This is a compliment. I really like how you speak very loud so all of us could hear, even the people from the very back. And I really like how you taught us some of the things that you see.
Thank you.
Okay.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Hello.
Agreed.
Agreed.